Welcome everybody, it's Lisa here from Epic Yarn Gems. Today I'm going to be showing you a technique on how to use the waistcoat stitch to make some graphic hats and beanies. Typically I would show you a stitch or a pattern, but today I'm going to do something a little different and just show you a technique on how to do this and how to graph it out. In the description, I'll leave you some tools so that if you want to make your own graphic with a waistcoat stitch, you can do that. There will be an Excel spreadsheet as well as a PDF so that you can use whichever one works best for you. I won't be spending a lot of time on the stitches themselves, but I will put some links to descriptions on how to do these stitches that I'm using in the description and also up in the information box up in the right hand corner. When I do hats and beanies from the bottom up, I typically like to start with a chainless foundation. I do this because it does give it a little more stretch in the hat, and if you do just a plain chain, it becomes a little rigid and sometimes a little tight. So I will put a link up in that right hand corner on how to do a chainless foundation single crochet, which is what I'm doing here. This is the stitch that I did use to start a project recently. You can do a double crochet, half double crochet, but I did the single. So what you're going to do is you are going to go under those two strands that made the chain in the previous stitch. You'll yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, go through that first loop on your hook, which makes a chain, yarn over and go through the next two, which makes a single crochet. And you're going to do that all the way around until you get to the number of stitches that you need to go around the person's head that you are making the hat or headband for. When you do get to the length that you need, you're going to need to join the two ends together. You're going to want to make sure that they are not twisted. And when you are doing the chainless foundation, there is a nice quick way to do this. And like I said, I'll leave that up in the link so that you can see how to do it. And it does really make a nice joining together. And it's really just two parts. It's joining the chain at the bottom of that foundation and then doing a slip stitch join with a single crochet at the top. But you can do whatever works for you to start your hat or your headband. This is just what I do. Here I've added another row of single crochets with the purple, and I'm going to show you how to do the waistcoat stitch into this purple row. So to start off, I am just going to go into the top of the single crochet, and I'm going to join in this case the yellow and do a chain one. Now I'm going to go back into that purple row with the yellow. So here you can see is where the single crochet was, and there are two legs there, and you're going to go through those two bottom legs, and you're going to make sure that you want to pop out the other side and just do a normal single crochet. Again, I'm not going to show you completely how to do the waistcoat stitch here, but I will put a link to a video on how to do it with all the detailed instructions. So I'm going to start with the waistcoat stitch here and continue down this row. The main purpose of this is to show you how to do a color change. So we're going to do a couple more stitches in this yellow. Just a note, if you are doing this, you can see that I'm fiddling to try to get my hook through that previous stitch. You can fix that a couple ways. One, you can do your stitches a little looser, or you can go up a hook size so that there's a little more space to get in when you are doing the waistcoat stitch. So I'm going to get to the point where I'm going to do a color change here. I'm going to be doing a change to the color white. So to start that off, you are just going to do a normal waistcoat stitch like you normally would, and then like I said, you're going to start that, you're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, and you're going to have two loops on your hook, and in this case it's the yellow. Then you're going to bring in your new color, in this case the white, and just lay it across your hook and pull it through those two yellow loops that are already on your hook, making sure things are tight by pulling those ends. Then you are just going to use the white going forward, doing the same type of waistcoat stitch that you were doing before. It does make a nice transition. The one thing doing it this way, you would cut off your yarn at the end of each color change. And doing that when you're in a small space can make it a little bit messy and a little bit difficult to see where your yarn ends are. Also, there's a lot to weave in. I don't do this myself. One, I make a terrible mess when I'm doing it. So here's an example of a project I did. You can see all the yarn all over the place. It was just a mess. So next I'm going to show you how to carry your yarn. So we've just changed our color, making sure everything is pulled tight, and we are going to go into that purple single crochet from the previous row and lay over the hook our yellow yarn, and then we're going to lay the white and then just finish that crochet. So again, you are going to go into the front, making sure that the yellow is laid across your hook behind the stitch, the purple stitch in this case, and you're going to have the white go over the hook, and you are going to pull that through to the front and finish your crochet. One of the things, just to be a reminder of this, is when you do carry your yarn, sometimes you are going to see the yarn come through, especially if you're using whites. You can try to hide that a little bit more. You can cut things off after the fact. But to be very honest, this works best for me. And when I'm doing this, I do try to be really careful to make sure that the carried yarn is well behind the waistcoat stitch of the previous row so that it is hidden pretty well. Here I just want to do another row of the purple just so you can see how this lines up. It does make a knit looking pattern for your work. It is a really great stitch to use, and for the graphics I just love it. I really want to thank you for joining me. Like I said, I know this isn't my normal video where I do just one stitch or a pattern, but it is a technique that I have used several times, and here are a couple of the projects that I did with this stitch. I did a hat for Michigan State University. I also did a tribute hat for Kobe Bryant, my favorite basketball player of all times, and also an Epic Yarn Gem headband. Thank you again for joining me today. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and some comments. If you'd like to see more of my videos, subscribe to Epic Yarn Gems and turn on notifications. Coming up soon, I will be doing another giveaway to celebrate reaching 1,000 subscribers, as well as a couple other videos, one of them being a dog sweater and some new stitches as well. So I hope you all have a great day, and I'll talk to you again soon.